While sometimes in life, major screw-ups result in things getting better on the other side, that certainly is not always true. Take, for example, what happened to Don Garlits. We met him in Chapter 1. He's the champion drag racer from Florida. I asked him what he'd learned along the way and what mistakes he'd made. He told me about not blowing up his engines and about a huge investment screw-up. What are your observations about? What have you learned along the way from starting a farm boy that drives cars, and here you are, worldwide reputation?
Well, I learned a lot about mechanics for sure. The sport today doesn't interest me because they like to tear the stuff up to go faster. My whole goal in life was to win the races but not destroy the engine, because I had to do it to make a living, and if I destroyed the engine, all the profit was gone. But today, with the big corporate sponsorships, winning is everything. And the last few years that I came back and tried to compete in 2002 and 2003, I didn't do well because I wouldn't blow the engines up to make a better time. I would run whole events and never take my car apart. I took pride in that I knew how to get just exactly the right amount of horsepower out, but not destroy the engine.
What's been the hard part? What's been the disappointments, the places where you've fallen down and you've wondered, am I doing the right thing? What are some of those things that come to mind?
But outside of the career, I made a couple of choices that I wouldn't make again in my investment world.
Do you want to tell me about it?
Well, there was a time when way back in '80, when the Hunts cornered the silver market, I had a lot of silver at that time, the $1,000 bags, U.S. coins, and they were worth $1,000 a bag. That's what I'd paid for them. And the coin dealer offered me $25,000 a bag for as many as I would bring him. And I should have done it because the government arrested the Hunts for manipulation. The silver market collapsed and went back to like $1,000 a bag.
Apple stock. I could totally understand how Garlits felt after making such a financial blunder. As he told me what happened, I recalled my Apple stock story. In 2001, I bought $50,000 of Apple stock. After all the growth and stock splits, by 2010, my stock was worth $150,000. I'd made a cool $100,000 in just 9 years. But I'd always been distrustful of the stock market, and in fact the whole damned investment industry. For example, several years before, we'd worked with a competitor of Oracle called Informix. As a speech coach, I was working with their sales team. These people were so optimistic and so persuasive. I thought, hey, they're going to kick Oracle's ass. So I bought $14,000 of Informix stock. To my chagrin, a short time later, we learned that the Informix CEO, Phil White, was up on SEC charges and had spent time in prison for securities fraud. By 2005, the company was defunct, and so was my $14,000. Thinking I had learned my lesson, I said to hell with the stock market. I told my financial guy to sell all my stock. He said, "Are you sure you want to sell Apple?" "Damn right," I shouted back. Boy, was I confident. After all, I'd just made $100,000. Meanwhile, in the intervening 10 years, Apple stock has taken off like the Apollo moonshot. If I had held on to that $150,000 of stock, today it would be worth a retirement-enhancing $1.2 million. So I wish the financial advisor had given me a good strong slap across the face and said, "Rick, wake up. Don't be so impetuous. Hold on to that stock for another year. See what happens." He didn't say that. Why should he? He makes money when I sell stock.